Now, it's quite common for an ad agency to create a wonderful piece of content, something that really engages people, is memorable, it's wonderful. However, it isn't necessarily linked to the brand. In fact, branding is one of the most common flaws of advertising. The issue is that people don't remember everything they see in an ad. They have selective attention. They only remember bits that are memorable to them, important to them, and that may or may not include the brand. The good news is there are techniques you can use to ensure that people do remember your brand from the advertising. For example, in static advertising, there are ways to ensure that you draw attention to the brand, for example, through the layout of the advertising or through how the headline draws people's attention to the brand. Also, there are little techniques like the fact that people tend to look at where people are looking, so you can use that to your advantage in your advertising. Or, of course, you can use established DBAs, distinctive brand assets, that represent your brand and can be used in advertising to make sure people remember it. When it comes to video advertising, you can also make sure that your brand remains prominent. For example, you can make sure that it has a starring role in the story. Or you could have a story about something else, but so long as your brand is the shift agent, the catalyst, the thing that makes everything better or changes everything, that's another way of making sure people remember your brand. Alternatively, just like with static advertising, you can include signifiers of your brand, in other words, distinctive brand assets. If they are prominent in the ad, people will also remember your advertising. It's also possible to have a very distinctive, creative style that only your brand is associated with. For example, Red Bull's cartoon animations. That can also make sure that your brand is automatically brought to mind when people are watching the advertising.